welcome to another episode of Learn with Lamberth. I am Marianne Lamberth, and let's start talking about using the My Account settings on the Zoom.us website. So we're going to go to Zoom.us, go to My Account, and this gives us a lot more settings for adjusting our account. I have the basic account. I'm an educator, and so my account has a few more privileges right now because of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic in the US and across the globe. So you'll see information about your personal meeting ID and all of that. This is also where you can change your profile picture, and you can adjust your time zone, how you see your date, and you can also change your password. If you go down a little bit, you can go to your meeting settings. Here's where you'll see all of your scheduled meetings. Below your profile and below meetings, you can go down to settings. In settings, you will see three options: meeting, recording, and telephone. Go to meeting and you will see sub options for security, schedule meeting, in meeting advanced, email notification, and other. We're going to look at all of these today. One of my favorite options is the waiting room. This is where you put your participants in a room that they sit in, much like a doctor's office, before you let them in. And then once they get into your meeting, you can also kick them back into for a timeout. So I always turn this option on for a meeting. That way you can admit them one at a time and they cannot all jump into your meeting. I also always require a passcode for me that I give out in an email or other ways to students or what have you. You can also change your password at any point in time. You can require users from a web client to authenticate themselves. So this is where they have to go through, picking out all the bicycles or picking out the sidewalks, little things like that, so you know you're not being trolled by a bot. I do turn this option on to make sure I have just that added level of security. When I schedule my meetings, I turn my video off so that I give myself a second to just have a moment to get myself together. I also turn my participants' video on. I like to see, because I teach middle school students, I like to see their faces when they're coming in. It also gives me an extra level of security to guarantee that my students match their faces. I do allow them to turn their cameras off though once they get into my classroom. Again, I do not allow my participants to join before the meeting starts. I have the waiting room. This is an option that some teachers choose to use. I do not, because my class is based on communication, and so we really kind of hold down those communication principles, and I teach a lot of communication skills. But for a lot of teachers, it's important to turn this on. You can mute your participants upon entry. And so if you turn this on and you just toggle it by clicking it, all of your participants are automatically muted whenever they come in. And so then you click on them to unmute them once they enter. So you have the ability to unmute them. They cannot unmute themselves. I have a ton of meetings on my calendar. A lot of us do, from a lot of different apps, web notifications, etc. I like to be reminded. You may not. I still get reminders for my meetings. You may want chats to be disabled. Because again, my class is based on communication, I allow participants to send a message visible to everyone. I do not allow private chats. So this is where we talk about chats. So chats. Meeting participants are allowed to send messages to my class visible to everyone. So I toggle that on. If you do not want them to be visible to everyone, you only want messages visible to the host, so they can only private message you, toggle this off. I do not allow my participants to save chats though. Private chats, I do not allow participants to message each other, so I do not want any background chatting. So this is off for my class. I do not allow auto saving of chats. I go in and save the chats myself, but I don't auto save it. That is a function that automatically goes off whenever you turn off private chats. Or, I'm sorry, whenever you turn off the prevent participants from saving chats. Oh, sorry. I like the reminder that someone is leaving my class, and so I have a sound that plays on my computer. This is turning it on, it's toggled on, and it only plays on my computer. If you have a different type of classroom or something, you can even ask students to record their voice, and it will play that Johnny or Sally is entering, and it will say Johnny is here. Just click that, and then that sound will play. That's a great tool for kindergarten or younger grades as they're still getting used to their classmates. I do allow my students to file transfer. You can set this for only specified types. I control that ferociously might be, or fiercely might be the correct term. That is up to you if you want file transfers or not. We do not send feedback to Zoom. I always show the meeting controls during a meeting. I do not want to have to find them, so I keep this toggled on. And I also always want the Zoom windows visible. I want to see what's going on. Screen sharing. So this is an option that you can turn on and have ready. For me, I keep it as host only, and then in my class, if I need to see a participant screen, I can turn that option on to all participants during the class. This is a key tool to make sure you turn off. Be sure to keep this off in your settings. Allow hosts and participants to use annotation tools to add information to shared screens. Keep that off. Otherwise, students can come in and start annotating while you are teaching. This also is something you choose to keep on or off. Allow hosts and participants to share whiteboard during a meeting. You can turn this on or off during your regular meeting as well. For me right now, I don't need it, so I'm going to turn it off. During screen sharing, the person who is sharing can allow others to control the shared content. I don't want that option. I do not want someone sharing their screen, say for technical help or sharing their project, to give that power to another person. So I still want to be the one in charge. I love this tool, the nonverbal feedback. This is a great teaching tool. So be sure to toggle this on. Participants in a meeting can provide nonverbal feedback and express opinions by clicking on icons. This gives you a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a yes, a no, a go faster, go slower. This gives you so many things for your students to click that you can use as tickets out the door, as warm-ups. There's so many ways that you can use these tools in your virtual classroom. Be sure to turn on nonverbal feedback. If you learned anything from this today, turn on nonverbal feedback. Also, turn on meeting reactions. Allow meeting participants to communicate without interrupting with an emoji. So they disappear after 10 seconds. They pop up on their screen, on their little video screen, on their square. I highly recommend meeting reactions. They are so helpful and so useful. And again, think about ways that you can use them as tickets out the door or warm-up activities. Or just little quick checks. Just quick checks for understanding. I do not allow removed participants to rejoin. So if I kick you out, if I ask you to leave my class, if you are removed, you are not coming back for the day. You are done. And that is as serious as it gets. So that is for someone who has invaded our space, is not respecting the learning environment, and it's probably someone that has gotten a meeting ID or password that isn't a student or something like that. So I keep this turned off. If someone just needs to change their name or they need a time out from class to have that moment to regroup, send them back to the waiting room. You do not have to remove them from class. Send them back to the waiting room, and then they can rejoin your class. To remove someone from your classroom is the ultimate, oh my gosh. And I never try to do that in the real brick and mortar class. And so why would I try to do that in the virtual setting? So if you are getting removed from my class, it is a big deal. So I keep this turned off so that if I have to use that tool to remove you from my class, you know what a big deal it is. I do allow participants to name themselves because once in a while in class, a participant joins that still doesn't have their first and last name listed, and I need that first and last name. I will give them about 5 seconds. If it isn't fixed, then I kick them back to the waiting room. They have to have their first and last name. This is an option you can choose. Hide participant profile pictures in meetings. We talk a lot about safe images and copyright in my class, so for me, this option is turned off. For a lot of teachers, this is a smart option to turn on, so you don't have to see their profile pictures. I will tell you that this is only up, and let me click so you can see the information. This feature is only available if you have 5.0 or later. I know that some of my students have said I turned it on as a test, and though I couldn't see the profile pictures, they could still see some of their friends' profile pictures. So it's not perfect. So you may think, oh, well, I don't have to see the pictures, but they're still seeing each other's pictures. So I don't know if that is the best method to go by, because then they could post even worse stuff without you knowing and they could see it. I do keep on the report participants to Zoom. Gosh forbid someone was to ever completely break into our class. I would want to report them for safety. Breakout room. Turn on your breakout rooms. Breakout rooms are amazing. If you're not using breakout rooms, use breakout rooms. I'll do a separate tips and tricks for breakout rooms one day. They are awesome. And just remember, you don't have to send your whole class to breakout rooms. You can do a breakout room for a few students. You can do a breakout room for 2 students. You can do a breakout room for a co-teacher and a few students. Breakout rooms are amazing. Please, please, please use breakout rooms. Remote support will not work if you're using breakout rooms. You have to choose remote support or breakout rooms. It's a tough choice. Choose breakout rooms. Always choose yes to breakout rooms. Virtual backgrounds. Let's talk about virtual backgrounds. I do allow students to use virtual backgrounds because sometimes they may not want to show what's going on at home. They may not be proud of their environment, and that's okay. But because I do not want anything distracting, I have turned this option off. I do not allow them to use videos for virtual backgrounds. So all you have to do is uncheck that box, and that way you do not have videos showing up as virtual backgrounds. I also do not allow them to apply filters to their videos. We want to be respectful of others and not distractive. And sometimes those filters become a little distractive, especially in those small boxes in Zoom. So we do not apply filters. Identify guest participants. I keep this turned on, but it doesn't really do anything because I have every single teacher in my district has a different account, but I do keep this turned on. So I am a little OCD. This is something you may want to keep on, may want to keep off, but when someone joins a meeting before me, I like to know, so I keep this turned on. If you do not like getting a lot of emails, you can turn it off. This is great if you have a student for, say, the start of the 9 weeks, and they're saying, oh, I don't know how to join your class, so I'm not coming to class every day. I don't know how to join your class. But they are joining at a different time or a different day or whatever. This will give you those emails to document that they know how to join. They're just not coming to class when they're supposed to. So maybe keep it on for the first week of school or the first 2 weeks, and then you can turn it off. It provides you with that documentation. So if you have to cancel a meeting, so I do keep this on, say, internet went down, I had to cancel a Zoom class for the day, this would send the notification automatically to all the students that it was canceled. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much. Continue to follow Learn with Lamberth on the Film at STEM channel on YouTube. Email me with any questions, and have a wonderful day.